and welcome back to Weird Dough, the show where we're going to make every recipe in Kim Joy from the Great British Bake Off's cookbook.
Weird Dough, Kim Joy Bakes.
The spiced carrot and walnut cake that we're gonna make has cream cheese frosting on the top, and it also has a caramel sauce. And I just love cream cheese frosting. It's the only reason to eat a red velvet cupcake, so let's give it a try. So in the recipe, Kim Joy calls for 1 cup of walnuts, but 1 cup of toasted walnuts. So I'm just gonna put them on this silicone matte lined tray, and we're just gonna spread them on there so that they're not really touching, so they get a nice even toast. That's a pro tip, nice even toast. And then we're gonna put them in the oven and toast them for a little bit. Hopefully we don't burn it. So let's get started on making the cake itself. So we have the oven preheating while our walnuts is very hard to say, apparently. We're gonna get started with making the cake. So the first thing you do is you take some of your dry ingredients and you put them in a separate bowl. We also need the zest of 1 medium orange. I bought this handy dandy tool at Williams-Sonoma the other day. I've never used it. Let's see if I can, okay, here we go. It's coming apart. Okay, I think we take that part off. It did not come with instructions. And we're gonna zest this bad boy right into the bowl. Takes a long time to zest. Another pro tip about zesting is you should only do the very outer edge. You don't want to keep zesting until the fruit becomes white. When the fruit becomes white, it makes it like a little more tangy, like a little bitter, and you don't want that. Just knock it off. Oh my gosh, the walnuts. Okay, let's check the walnuts because we don't want them to burn. They kind of look the same. I guess we'll put them back in for a little bit. Okay, so now that we have our orange zested and in here, we're just gonna combine that all together. Now we're going to set this to the side. New to this episode is this beautiful new stand mixer. I just love her. I love her beautiful Bordeaux color and this like really cool pink bowl that I got to go with it. And I'm really excited to use her for this carrot cake. What Kim Joy says to do is add the oil, the sugar, salt, and vanilla to a stand mixer, which we now have, fitted with the balloon whisk. This cake only calls for brown sugar. It doesn't call for any white sugar, which to me sounds great. When I was a little kid at my grandmom's, I would just eat it out of the container. For some reason, you put the salt in here and you don't put the salt in with the dry ingredients. This bowl's too full. I used too small a bowl, but here we go. This cake also just has vegetable oil in it. There's no butter or Crisco shortening. It's a vegetable oil cake. Now we mix it. Just to mix it on high speed until there are no sugar lumps. Okay, keep going. Oh my god, the walnuts. Not burnt, but still not really toasted. Let's frisk it, put it back in just for like 1 more minute and see. It kind of still looks like there's some lumps in there. I guess we'll let it go for a little bit longer. Let me just scrape the sides. Let me tell you, these Williams-Sonoma spatulas are the best spatulas. I got this one on clearance because it has the letter X and no one's name starts with an X, so it was like $3. Okay, actually after scraping down the edges, it looks much less lumpy and I think it might be ready to go. We kind of have to take the walnuts out regardless of whether they're done or not because we need them to go in the batter. They look good. It actually, even though they kind of look the same color, they smell incredible. We have to do the carrots. I got these giant carrots. I've never seen anything like it in my life. They are huge. Kim Joy says we need 2 1/3 cup grated carrot. How much carrot do you think this is grated? 2 1/3 cup? Probably not. Let's go for it. Oh my god, it's probably gonna be enough. Close. Look at this whole carrot. Like what am I gonna do with this now? We now have carrot all over our work surface. Great. Okay, so we're just gonna have a carroty work surface. We do have about 2 1/3 cup. And now what we're gonna do is we have 5 eggs, which is so many eggs. And we're gonna put the eggs in 1 at a time, then beat it until it's combined. Hopefully we don't get shells. Pretty good. Here we go. Egg 1. Ooh. Jesus. We are a little clumpy here with the sugar. Well, Hopefully the clumps come out when we do the rest of the eggs. 3. Ooh, 1 shot. This is why you should crack an egg in a bowl before you crack it in the batter. But my mom told me that. That's a pro tip from my mom, and I did not listen. Got it. Okay, we have all of our 5 eggs in there now. It's very thin, but it looks like we don't have any more of the chunks in there. The next thing we do is we add our dry ingredients that we combined earlier. Now Kim Joy says mix it till just combined. You don't want to overmix your cake. So just a little bit on low. Smells so good. Get all that flour in there. Now that our walnuts have cooled a little, I think we'll just give them like a nice rough chop because you kind of want the chunky texture in there to contradict the really soft cake. At least that's what they say on British Bake Off. That looks pretty good. And the last step before baking is to fold in our carrots and our walnuts. Just trying to get as much of it off of this balloon whisk as I can. I haven't found a better method to get it off. If you guys have a better method, you can leave it in the comments below because I just sit here and scrape till it's good to go. Okay. And we're gonna add our carrot. It's so much carrot. Oh my god. My best friend would hate this cake. She hates carrots. Kim Joy says to add raisins, but I really, really hate raisins. I think when people put raisins in baked goods, it's like the worst move. So we are not doing that. And you just fold it in. So you go to the bottom, around again to the top. That's folding as opposed to stirring. I think you fold rather than stir to keep all of the air in and to not over mix your batter. Smells so good, it looks so good. Now we're gonna put it into our prepared tins and then pop it in the oven. Nice and even in here. It is gonna make just 2 cakes perfectly. All right, here they are. 35 minutes and we'll have a cake. So we have our cakes out of the oven. They look incredible. They smell even better than they look. Easy breezy. So now these cakes have to cool completely before we can decorate it. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make the salted caramel. Now, they always mess this up and burn it and stuff on the show, on the British Bake Off. So this is a huge fingers crossed moment for us. I've only made caramel one other time and I didn't burn it. So hopefully I won't burn it this time either. So we have our saucepan on a low to medium heat. We add water. And the next thing we add is granulated sugar. Kim Joy says to stir it occasionally. Just let it do its thing. What we're waiting for is for the sugar to completely dissolve. So hopefully it doesn't take too long. So it's already simmering, I can already hear it. Stirring occasionally here. I think the sugar looks completely dissolved. So now what you do is you don't touch it and you just let it bubble until it turns caramel brown. It's really, really hard to not touch it. It makes me a little nervous making the caramel. I'm not gonna lie. It's still crystal clear in color. No amber color yet. Oh boy. One tip she does give is you can swirl the pan around to get the amber color all around. So we'll swirl the pan a little. Not too much though, I don't want to over swirl. It's taking longer than I thought it would. So once our caramel has turned a caramel color, the next thing you do is you remove it from the heat, pour heavy cream in all in one shot, and whisk it constantly. Kim Joy does say that it could bubble up at this stage, so to just be extra cautious. Takes a long time to make caramel apparently. I had no idea. Now it's really starting to turn caramel. Oh, I can smell it. Swirl it around a little. It's really starting to turn brown. Okay, here we go. Remove from the heat. Pour in the caramel. Oh. Smells good. I don't think it's burnt. I think it's dissolved. I think we're gonna go with it. The last thing you do is pour it into a bowl. Here it is. Honestly, it looks pretty good. It looks like it's the right color. So now you put it in the freezer for like 30 minutes so it cools down. So while our cakes are cooling in the fridge and our caramel is cooling in the freezer, we're gonna make our cream cheese frosting. So the first thing you do to make the frosting is you take butter. This is the least amount of butter we've probably ever used in any recipe so far on our weird dough journey. And you just beat it for a while. You cream it. A good way to tell that the butter is creamed is the color will go from yellow to white. You can sort of see how the color has changed. The next thing that we're gonna do is add half of our icing sugar. We have 4.5 cups of confectioner's sugar. That is so much sugar. And now we're gonna combine that all together. Not too fast. Now we're gonna put in our cream cheese. Get in there. Now one thing that Kim Joy says about this frosting is to not overbeat it, otherwise it will get too soft and you won't be able to pipe it. We don't want that. Ooh, thick. Start off slow. Oh, there it is. There was a clear moment when it became frosting. This is the bane of my existence with this mixer. Getting anything out of the mixer part. It looks great so far. While we don't want to overmix it, we also don't want chunks of cream cheese. So we still have a few chunks, so we're gonna mix it a little longer. And perhaps that's good enough. No more chunks. Thank you, friend. Great job. We are going to try to make it look like this. So let's see if our cakes are cool and our caramel is cool, and then we can put it all together. Oh yeah, it's cool, all right? It tastes so good. We have our cakes here. They're out of the fridge. They're nice and cool. So what you're gonna do first is you're gonna take just a little bit of frosting and put it here, swirl it around, and it's gonna act as the glue to hold your cake to your cake spinner so it doesn't go flying all around while you're trying to decorate it. Oh, it's so sticky. Look at my hands, so sticky. Now we're gonna prepare our frosting. We usually do the scoop and scrape, but I saw this tip on Kim Joy's channel where she puts the bag into a cup like this and then fills it that way. I think it's a genius idea, so we're gonna do that. It's still kind of a scoop and scrape. You gotta scrape still. If you've ever seen an episode of Weird Dough, you know that I always run out of frosting. So let's not go too crazy on the bottom layer here. We're gonna cut a pretty wide tip because she has those dollops. So I'd say maybe like about here. Twist it up. And we're just gonna put just a little bit around so that we can spread it out and cover the bottom. Now, we're gonna go all around the edge and make the dollops. They kind of look like ghosts. Not bad. They're really cute. They kind of look like snowmen or something. Okay. And we still have a bunch. So we're probably gonna be all right. Okay. Now the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put a layer of caramel and drip it on the edges. Now for this, we want a tiny, tiny tip. It's very liquidy compared to the frosting. So maybe like this tip, very small. And we're gonna put a bunch in the center, a nice zigzag. Oh my God, this looks incredible. I love it. Gosh, I just can't wait to eat it. Okay, now we're gonna try to achieve the drips on the edge. Hers are kind of like maybe a pot, like every one and just like wait for it to fall. I think gravity will help us here. Oh yeah, look at that. Gravity is your friend. Oh my God, it looks really cool. You can see. It looks really good, like really good. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put this cake, whoop, and push it down. We don't wanna push it too much because we still wanna see all the little dollops here. It looks really good. I'm really happy about it. We're gonna pipe those same little balls all around, from the middle, all the way out. Here we go. And we had enough frosting. So we have the top fully covered. Looks so good. And then the last thing is you cover it with an insane amount of caramel drizzle. So we're just gonna do like nice thin drizzle up and down all the ways. Oh my God, it looks incredible. I'd also like to say this is the first time I've made a sauce out of her cookbook and it's actually the right consistency. I love cake. That's it. That's the cake. It looks really awesome. Look at the top. Oh my god, look at the top. Let's give it a spin. This cake came out really, really good. It looks really amazing. It looks a lot like Kim Joy's picture here. Some things we learned while making this cake. We learned not to over whip cream cheese frosting, otherwise you won't be able to use it. Pretty much follow the recipe and it comes out looking pretty incredible. Okay, I guess we gotta try it. Moment of truth. I feel bad cutting it, it's so pretty. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is a big old cake. I think we could have put a thicker layer of cream cheese frosting in the center, so there was a little bit more division between the two layers of cake. But aside from that, I think it looks good. Those cakes are moist and fluffy. Oh boy. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, it's incredible. It's so moist, it's so fluffy. Even for a carrot cake, which sometimes can come out dense, the cream cheese frosting is perfect. It's not over whipped. It's really delicious. Oh, it's got a walnut. The walnuts are good in it too. I don't even love walnuts, but it's nice and crunchy in there. As always, Kim Joy nailed it. Bye!
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have thumbs, and feel free to subscribe. If you want to see the behind the scenes footage, follow me on Instagram.